What's going on, everybody? This is Andrew Lee with Health Mutual Network and your admin over at the California Insurance Agents Group. And guess what? We got an all-star ensemble here today. And if you guys don't already know Christian, you should, because he's been on. He's been on, and he's also a great partner. Now introducing Glenn Shelton, if you don't know him. Now,
Hello.
Glenn is part of the family. Now he is co-owner of CBIS,
Yes,
and then the owner of Lead Heroes, and I guess it goes vice versa now because it's a merger.
it is.
So,
Hmm.
man, just so excited for you guys on this. I mean, this is a big deal,
We're super excited.
Yeah,
man.
it's almost like, they I feel like people very liberally throw around the phrase these days, how do you eat an elephant? But like it's rarely an elephant. It's more like, like a baby cow. But this is a real elephant. Like this, getting this kind of
It's
all put together has been an actual elephant.
it is yeah, us coming together, you guys. For those of you, maybe you just know me, maybe you just know Christian, maybe you don't know either of us when you're watching this. Christian had three different businesses. I had two businesses, and we put all five together under one roof. So when he's talking about how big this is and using that elephant analogy, it has been an enormous undertaking shifting these pieces around and figuring out, what needs to stay, what needs to go, what needs to change. And we're still working our way through it. So we appreciate everyone kind of giving us a little patience as we continue to figure things out. But overall, super excited. Already a fantastic start to 2024. And I think
Hmm.
by the end of this year, it's going to be a rocket. I mean, we're talking SpaceX, Elon Musk. We're going straight to Mars. So I couldn't be more excited, you guys.
All right, guys. So your guys' descriptions of what you guys do was very vague. So I'm gonna do it for you guys. If you guys don't know Christian, Christian is of course owner of CBIS. Pretty big FMO. I mean, you guys know him in the YouTube space, sort of an online celebrity there, and obviously has spoken in many conferences, toured all over the place. I mean, he is a household name for most Medicare agents that are doing things with their licenses. So that's Christian, everybody. I mean, the Medicare Advantage King. I like to call him that. Glenn Shelton, geez. I mean, how many freaking VAs are you like? I mean, you basically are one of the monopolies, I guess. I'm not the monopoly, but like one of the top dogs when it
It gets,
comes to VA services, leads. I mean, we'll get into all that.
yeah.
I mean, a huge call center. I mean, what am I missing?
200 plus overseas virtual assistants based out of the Philippines, majority of which are operating as a call center, making phone calls, connecting seniors with agents, nationwide, all across the US. Specifically, our focus is in the senior insurance market. So final expense, Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage. We even get into some ancillary products like dental as an example. But yeah, it's over 200 people right now, and it's set to just continue to grow. It's wild. It really is the size of it.
I'm
Christian and I
so
were,
freaking excited.
yeah, one thing I wanted to mention, this kind of came up on our training that Christian and I did yesterday, and I didn't really anticipate this to happen, but we're talking about our payroll. We have a six-figure payroll monthly between all five companies. And it's this to give you guys an idea of the size of us coming together. It's enormous.
So speaking of coming together, I mean, this merger is a big deal, and then there's for many reasons, right? So, I mean, again, Christian being, the expert in the Medicare field. I mean, not to say, Glenn, that you're not either, but again,
Sure.
you're the master marketer. I mean, that marketing goes through you. So now you have a master marketer, and then you have somebody that's a master MAPD, Medicare, all of the above FMO. You plug the two together, what happens? Better agent experiences, more numbers, right? And it's still going to be hands-on. You guys are one Facebook comment away. You guys are one DM away from answering any questions. So it's not like you guys are, on cloud nine. You guys are your heads are in the clouds or anything like that. You guys are, involved, active. I love that. And most of the agents that work with us know this. So the reason why I have these guys on is because I just wanted to break down every single thing that is going to be offered and what it's going to mean for agents, and just take a look at what's happening. All right, just take a look at what's happening. We're going to talk leads, but before we get into leads, I mean, Glenn, you own, I mean, now you guys both own Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes. Hire Heroes being one of the most popular VA, programs out there right now. Can you talk a little bit about how that all works for the agents that are maybe interested in doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Hire Heroes, the goal is to really give an agent or an agency owner the opportunity to hand off these low revenue or no revenue generating activities, such as answering a customer service call that's coming in, managing a calendar, data entry, CRM management. It could be social media related, creating posts, monitoring pages for comments, just about any type of virtual task that you guys can think of. Bookkeeping, another great example of just something that's kind of tedious and can absorb a lot of your time. Your time as an agent or an agency owner is so valuable. Our goal at Hire Heroes is to give you back as much of that time as we possibly can. And that was kind of, again, the core motif for why I started what I started at Lead Heroes. Is I was so upset as an agent that I was spending almost half my week in admin level tasks, genuinely, between appointment setting, customer service calls, data entry, talking to the carriers about what's going on with policies, etc. I'm now spending half my week doing tasks that don't actually generate any revenue directly for me or for the agency. So that's what it's all about. And being able to replicate my own experience for agents and agency owners all over has been really just super satisfying. And I'm hoping to continue to do more of that this year.
And you run a tight ship for a big ass company. I'm gonna tell you that. So, I mean, it's so with VAs. I mean, obviously, if you guys are within that, oh, I need to get some kind of help, but I just don't know where to go, and I don't really. I'm a 1099 agent, or I haven't really set up everything. I mean, to hire a full-time admin is going to be, responsibility enough. A good stepping stone is getting a VA. I mean, that's how I started. So, they basically just fill in the blanks of whatever you need. So I mean, I'm pro VAs, and I really feel like help is going to be necessary, especially as your business grows. I mean, shoot, Glenn, what's the number of clients somebody should have until they would have to ask for help?
That's a great question. And again, something Christian and I were on this training call, and that was an exact question that kind of came up that we were discussing. And it's not necessarily like a specific one number either, you guys. It could be kind of a variety of situations. Sometimes I've seen independent agents or agency owners have 600, 700, 800 clients, and they're actually managing it fairly well. I've also seen it where you get to 100 clients and you're drowning and you need that help as quickly as possible. So kind of have to figure out your own situation, what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. But I honestly believe that once you hit the 200 to 300 mark is probably the time when you should really start thinking about, how much of what I'm doing could I hand off to someone and pay them at an extremely reasonable rate. Finding another thing that I think is worth mentioning here too, Andrew, as you're talking about bringing in admin staff, we've seen the cost of employees over the past 2 or 3 years continue to go up here stateside, to the point where sometimes you have to pay someone $25 an hour just to get them in your office to do basic level tasks. It's pretty wild. So, situations like that mean outsourcing it to a company like Hire Heroes just that much more valuable.
This video is brought to you by the 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit. Guys, have you ever wanted to get around other professionals and the best of the best in the Medicare space if you're a Medicare agent? There's something to be said about networking and learning what other people are doing around the country, and they might just have some ideas that you may never have thought of before. It's also something to be said about learning from the best of the best. The most successful people in the insurance space collaborate talk with others, and they have a mentality that we all are in this together and we share ideas and grow together. The Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit is the premier event for Medicare agents. It is highly affordable. It has a great reputation of being some of the best content you're going to find at any event. There's so many events out there that are nothing but pitch fests, or half of the speakers are employees for the agency that host the event, and there's not really any real agency builders, or very few that actually take the stage and speak. At the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit, you get nothing but the best of the best talent from all over the industry. It's not based on hierarchy. It's not based on anything like that. We all are coming together as Medicare agents to grow and learn and get better. You can get information on who the speakers are for this year's event and ticket prices down in the link of this description. We would love to see you at the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit.
I totally get that, because again, we're in California, and you know, 25 an hour is not shit for a lot of people.
That's burgers down there, right? You're flipping burgers.
You know, so you know, it's definitely more than that, Glenn. I'll tell you that much.
You can work for Andrew. You can work for InNOut. Same price, same starting with.
I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever's more satisfying to you. I love burgers, so whatever.
That's hilarious.
I love InNOut too. So
Andrew's not going to give you free burgers. InNOut will.
Yeah, you know the employees at InNOut, they have an InNOut Fest every year where they have like, they rent out this whole like place, and they have like free InNOut burgers and all
No way.
I've actually been to one of them.
I'm sneaking into the next.
Yes,
please call me.
I'm
I'm sneaking. Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, next top producer trips at InNOut Fest.
Yeah, InNOut Fest.
So
That's awesome.
Okay, cool. I mean, shoot. So VAs, obviously, I mean, there's a need for them, and obviously the pricing is pretty affordable compared, and it's also a business expense at the end of the day. You're not really
100%.
people as a, you know, as a corporation, right? So I mean, it all just goes towards helping you guys out. So I really love that fact of it, that there is a VA option now offered to all our agents. I mean, of course, it's been public, but now we're going to fine tune it. And what we want to talk about is, you know, the opportunity for agents with us. I mean, this is huge, right? I mean, we got, again, all three of us here, you know, doing this, you know, making things happen. So Christian, I definitely want to, you know, I know this is going to be pretty lead heavy right now and VA heavy, but definitely going to get to you pretty soon here. But
sit tight.
Oh no,
you guys both want.
It's important. I mean, the leads and the VAs, you guys, for one, it's a huge part, I think, of this conversation, because it's a very new element for agents that partner with Andrew, and by extension partner with us. And so I think it's necessary to have these conversations about them.
Absolutely, and people don't know that they need them until they do, until they're up in their necks and say, "Oh, I need a vacation. I need a, you know," but then it's time to delegate. So, I mean, one huge deal are the preset SOA appointments. Right?
Yes.
The preset 48-hour scope rule, you know, that is non-existent for people who are getting these leads, because you've already covered it, Glenn.
That's right. That's right.
The Cadillacs.
You know, the rules got flipped on all of us, and it feels like it's been a long time now, but the reality is you've only had to go back to scoping people for about 3 months now, 4 months, you know, the start of AAP essentially, right? So unfortunately, you know, it's a huge hurdle as a producer, and CMS of course rolls this out like, hey, no big deal, just start waiting 2 days after you contact someone. But the reality is, between how much marketing is going on to these seniors and the fact that they're already older individuals, sometimes having to wait a couple days, you know, can be detrimental, especially if you end up scheduling that person further out. So what we've been able to accomplish at Lead Heroes is really from the start of the conversation that you have with this prospect, you're able to go straight into a compliant sales conversation, because we already got the information, the permission to contact from a CMS approved site. So they opted in, they agreed to be contacted, and now we're actually doing a verbal scope of appointment, and we're setting that appointment for 48 hours out. So we essentially are clearing 3 hurdles for you guys at once, and then handing you someone that you can compliantly write a Medicare Advantage plan, a PDP plan, you know, a Medicare supplement plan, essentially take care of them however they need help. So we found that since the start of AEP, going this route when you're trying to write Medicare Advantage has been extremely beneficial to really remove these hurdles from the sales process.
And I love it because, you know, time kills all deals, right? And
Yes,
there's been
yes.
countless times where I've heard agents, this happened to me too, that said, okay, you know, they had the scope signed and then they follow back up no matter, I mean, obviously these are more going to be, you know, just generic leads for the most part. They're not family members that are not answering your phone. Sometimes family members don't answer your phone, even though they want to get Medicare. But you know, time kills all deals, and that 48 hour, like really following back up with them and trying to get them back on the phone is a task in itself. So
Yes.
you're just going to completely get rid of that. I mean, you're already, you know, in an advantage situation, right? So, I mean,
100%.
that's huge. That's huge. I mean, nobody else is doing this. I mean, so I thought that was just, I mean, me personally, right? I'm not really like a leads, like I'm a little bit leery of leads. You know, I've had situations from, but that, I mean, man, this is next level. This is next level. So I
Let,
really
let,
love that
let
for
me
you.
let me quickly chime in real quick because like I want to come at this from a different perspective as well for anybody that's watching because for CBIS as a customer of Lead Heroes, right, prior to the merger, one thing that we found was like I talked about it the other day on a video, but like I feel like there's a trajectory and almost like a hierarchy of intent of a lead, right? I don't even necessarily consider the presets myself leads. I consider them preset appointments. I think they're their own category, if you
Mm.
will, of a prospect. So I think like at the very bottom, right, you have like a cold call, cold as ice. You know, it's going to be the coldest type of interaction you're going to have. Above that, I think you have a lead, and you know, there's certainly varying degrees of leads in terms of intent and quality and things like that. But I think they're going to live in this area. I'd put a preset appointment in its own level above that, right? Because this is a person that, and then above that, I'd put like a referral, like a real warm contact of some kind. And so, like these, the reason why these are so much better intent on average, I would say, than a normal lead would be is like they've talked to a person already, right? So that verbal communication is very powerful. They've agreed to the scope already. So like Glenn and I did a training the other day about how to properly work these leads and work these type of appointments. And one thing we talked about on the training was, you know, the more they agree to, the higher intent it is, right? So they've agreed to the scope already, and they've agreed to the appointment. That's two agreements before you have ever even spoken to them. And so I feel like the quality is great. Now, are they going to be the same quality as a referral, someone that calls into your office that was referred by Jane down the street that's been with you 6 years? No. And I don't think it's fair to kind of expect them to be, but they are, I would say, as an agent, better quality than a lead would be.
Definitely. I mean, again, yeah,
Really fast too. I was going to say if we could, I think we should share the link if for that training below this video. I think it would be super beneficial if they could see that if they end up working preset appointments again, whether that's from Lead Heroes or from another source. You guys, I think the proper training is crucial to being successful with any preset appointment program.
right. Comes with the script. I've used it. I've trained on it. I mean,
And
it's beautiful. I mean, this is a game changer, right? I
And
mean,
and in that training, like we literally go through everything you can possibly run into, right? We go into what to say, how to say it, what to avoid, how to get a hold of people. Like that is to me the best training you're going to find on working a pre-scheduled appointment like this that you'll find anywhere, especially for free.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you know, just a different perspective from an agent perspective, I think is like,
Yeah.
you know, they're the intent of these is very unique, you know, and again, as Glenn said, it saves a huge amount of time for the
Right.
agent.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I hate wasting time. I mean, again, time kills all deals, and what are we doing? Just dialing and just, you know, just have it set up for you. Just make it easy, you know, just a quick handoff, quick handoff. So I love that. I love that. And again, guys, I mean, I love working with you guys, Glenn. We've been, you know, friends for quite a bit, even before the merger. And
I
Christian,
still I still want a rematch on that foosball game, bro.
Oh man, I mean, we can make it happen. We can make it happen.
Okay.
The results are going to be the same.
I'd
Anyways.
like to.
Well, we're all going to be together at this, little thing happening in June,
Oh,
I have no idea. Do you know what he's talking about? I have no idea what he's talking about.
it was like some kind
June?
of like,
I certainly hope I'm not there by myself.
Let me check my calendar. I don't know I don't know what he's
it's like a
talking about.
mountaintop or like, oh, summit. There you go.
Summit. Oh,
It's
Oh,
it's a
oh
summit with
yeah,
no
okay.
mountains, right? Near the beach,
Yes.
a summit with no
in
mountains.
Savannah, Georgia, near the beach.
It is. It is near the
I didn't
beach.
know
It
that.
is. Yeah, I
Tropical.
was surprised too. I had to look it up. I
Well,
don't go that far east very often.
well, it's a big ass insurance conference that you don't want to miss. It's one of one or two that people actually go to and
Yeah.
actually, learn something from. You saw me last year. I was taking notes and I'm generally at the bar. So, it's good stuff. Um, cool guys. So yeah, I mean, I love the merger. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. Obviously, you guys work really well together, and obviously, it's just a better for the agent experience and the full. What we want from the full agent experience is you mastering marketing, right? And then you mastering, the day to day with Medicare. And then of course ACA. I mean, ACA right now is a hot topic. People are doing things wrong left and right. That's why we're having all these issues with Washington and all these CMS cracking down.
Yes.
Just wrong. There's just wrong information out. I hate looking at some of these posts, and I just don't like say anything just because I'm just not a internet troll, or I just don't want to like chime in and start more threads, and I have to have anything else better to do. But I've seen so much wrong information, especially about Cover California. And I mean, shoot, I've been doing this for 10 years, so I know a thing or two about Cover California. So, I mean, with Christian's expertise, with Glenn's expertise, you also get my expertise with ACA. I mean, guys, a lot of people are leaving money on the table with ACA. I mean, you know that now at this point, you guys know that, and you guys are leaving a lot of money on the table with people turning 65. I mean, we definitely have to nurture that market, right? If you guys are still like just strictly doing Medicare, at the very least, plug that in there, right? And I have a fail-proof system that works with ACA with Cover California. So of course, anybody that is contracted with me and us will get access to all that information. My brain is yours, right? You can pick it all you want. So that is sort of the value prop that we wanted to all collectively bring so that everybody has good information. Again, we don't want to safeguard information. Information should be, free for everybody, and especially good information. I mean, you're looking at the three people that are qualified to talk about this. So really love that for us. Really love that for our agents, especially because we'll have agents that, a year ago we're selling zero policies, right? It's like just nothing, no activity. And then all of a sudden, they decide to work with us as partners. And now people are submitting 3, 4 apps a day in the off season, in the off season, something's right? Something's working, right? So
Mhm.
as long as, to Christian's point, I mean, Glenn's gonna agree with this. As long as you just listen and follow mentorship, I mean, there's no way, there's no chance that you're not going to succeed if you do the work. Like, seriously, this is a promise of mine. I mean, I've seen this again, like time and time again. Just if you just follow what like you're supposed to do and what Christian tells you to do and what Glenn tells you to do with marketing, what I tell you to do with ACA, you're going to make money. I'm going to get some people as testimonial on. I mean, again, we're not going to, these aren't paid actors or anything like that. I am so tempted to do this because our system works. Our system works. That's why
It does.
I'm so freaking confident about this. That's why we're having everybody on here and having this conversation because this is extremely important. I mean, there's a lot of agents in California that just don't have communication with their uplines or their FMOs. It's a huge deal. I'm not going to name
Right.
any FMOs, but you guys know those that are actually top producers, not the ones that are sort of lollygagging, 3 apps a year and, just having a license to have a license. They know I'm an insurance agent. The top producers secretly know that most of the big FMOs in California are extremely hard to reach, hard to deal with, right? The one thing I love about you guys is your contracting team's on point. You get, I mean, Emma was a contractor before, now you have Lynn in the office, but you get an answer like out like an hour, 2 hours later,
Very fast, very
very
quick.
fast, you know? Uh, So, I mean, Christian, talk to me about the organization of all that in your office.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's, and before I go into that, Andrew, I wanted to just briefly, just kind of touch on what you were talking about, and when it comes to agents that really a year ago were not selling Medicare, didn't know anything about Medicare, that are really selling policies now and thriving and doing well working with you. And I think, I think our resources and our infrastructure behind the scenes has been important for that. But I think it's a testament more than anything to you and your leadership and your guidance and your training. So props to you on that and the great job you've done with the California team out there. You guys are crushing it. You're growing. This year will be a monster year for your team and for California in general. But to answer your question directly, yeah, I mean, I think, we have always at CBIS, whether it be with a client or whether it be with an agent, prioritized great experience of who we're doing business with. So we've prioritized quick responses, accurate information, personable communication, right? So like you feel very special in the communication, and it's because you are. But of course, not every company's figured that out. And I feel like it's such a, I think great partner experience, customer experience, client experience is a lost art today. You just don't see it very much in a lot of businesses. And, we've always prioritized it. And I think it's why people love working with us like they do. And contracting is a big part of that. We've really, I feel like, gotten our process down when it comes to contracting as of today to where it's as smooth and as crisp and as real, just easy and non-painful as it ever has been. For the agents, I think for our team, like, I talked to someone the other day that they were like, with my current group, I'll put in a contracting request and like 6 days later, I'll get a contracting link. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. I'm like, that's
2 weeks
unbelievable.
sometimes. I mean, I've heard 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've heard that the same thing. Like, and for us, like, we had somebody that needed a contracting link. We found out at the very end of the day yesterday, like 4:45, we closed at 5. They had it this morning. They had the link in their inbox this morning. And so
I think Andrew just said it a second ago, time kills all deals, and if you have to wait 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, which it sounds like I'm just making numbers up, but I've seen it firsthand, you guys. I've seen contracting take months to get done. Someone forgets to forward a link, someone forgets to send an application, someone forgets to follow up with the carrier to see what else needs to be done. And it can add a ton of time to getting contracted and keeping you from selling, keeping you from making money. It's horrible. It really is.
And while, we don't have a huge necessarily agent contracting department. We have, a couple of people that work in it, Emma, Lynn, like you mentioned, and they do an amazing, tremendous job. And then of course, we have a lot of contacts and relationships with our friends in the integrity marketing family that also help behind the scenes to make that possible. So I feel like we've figured it out when it comes to making this process and onboarding easy for the agent. And very few groups I feel like have been able to accomplish that. And that ultimately ends up causing agents to lose money because they're putting so much time into trying to just get onboarded. It's no fault of theirs.
Trust me, I've been around the block with FMOs, and I mean, again, yeah, like you said, choose an upline that you're gonna get along with. Choose an upline that's doing the damn thing, and choose an
Yes.
upline that is actually going to really care about you, right? Not just a number, right? I mean, if you're putting in the work, I'm on the phone with you at 11 p.m., right? I'm on the phone with you on like, whatever it is. So just
Right.
guys, just that's how you choose your upline, like who you gel with, like use your like heart, like use your emotion, your feelings on that. They're not gonna, it's usually right. So trust your gut. But that's the reason why we're here. That's the reason why I'm here. Again, I've been around the block.
Yep.
It's just straight up like no BS, no middleman, no buffer. just straight up, right? And one huge value prop that you guys offer is, I mean, okay, so let's throw this out. I mean, agent pipeline is, going to be the FMO, obviously, right? That
Right.
we have connections to, but one of the most powerful things about working with us is you have who's the president of integrity right now?
Mr. Ryan Kimball.
Mr. Ryan Kimball, and he started Agent Pipeline, did he not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. He was the CEO and the owner of Agent Pipeline prior to him
And
taking his role now with
now
Integrity.
we got Lester Kahn here, and then the direct contract. I mean, so what I'm trying to say is you have direct access to integrity,
Yes.
to their
Yeah. We
compliance department with Kim Patterson, who's arguably probably the best
ph-
compliance officer in the United States.
she's phenomenal. Kim
Yes.
Patterson. Kim
You
Kim
know,
is great.
you have Ryan, you have Lester on speed dial if we want, right? So I mean, it's a perk being an integrity partner, right? You guys just being an integrity partner in
Yes.
itself is a huge, huge deal. I mean,
Yeah.
we have these agencies out there, or you don't know if these people have second jobs and working part-time. Like, you just don't know what's happening. Like, I know exactly what's happening from top to bottom with our organization. Like, I
Yeah.
know exactly where we stand and what contacts we have. So that's the hugest value prop too. If you want to just go straight to the top, I mean, Christian, you've had agents where, like Lester would reach out if he had, to go
Hmm.
over contracting or go over their commissions because, they just wanted to hear it from the top or,
Yep.
whatever, top
Yep.
of the
Yes.
chain or whatever the case is. And guess what? It happened and they were happy with the results, right? They're like, okay, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah.
Nice
100%.
to meet you.
I think that's a great point to kind of point out because like there's a lot of groups that you guys can work with anybody that's watching and like they don't have access to anybody that can actually solve a problem or help with
Right.
something. You know what I mean? We have a laundry list of contacts that we can go to for a multitude of different things. And it's, not to say that and we've earned it. We have earned it from the standpoint of where, we're a valuable partnership for integrity. And that's kind of why we were able to have that. We're a very successful agency in our own right. But, you know, we take Lester, for example. Lester, anybody that's been to the summit before, Lester is a speaker both years. He'll be a speaker this year. Probably, I haven't announced that yet, so spoiler alert. But
Thanks,
of course,
Lester.
thanks, Lester. But like Lester is a great example. He's not the type of person that just has the time to help anybody. He has
Right.
too much going on. He's too busy. He oversees an entire department in his own right. Um, and Lester really is in charge of working with the biggest agencies, the biggest contacts and the biggest accounts, within organization. And, us being who we are, if we need to pull somebody into something to resolve something, we have the capability to do that. And I don't think that's anything to sniff at.
I think it's kind of one of the silent benefits of us merging is our combined network because again, Christian and I have both been in the industry for a decade now each. So we have amassed a laundry list of contacts and relationships and people who we've done business with that we're happy to refer people to. So, it's just, again, that's just another added benefit, I feel like, of us coming together and being able to work with a combined entity and kind of have this vertical integration, you guys, top to bottom.
I'm again like I know all this stuff, but like just talking about it again with you guys is like there are so many freaking perks. There's a lot of
Yeah,
perks.
there is.
And, and you know what? It really is a privilege to work with us. I'm not saying that to be, too
For,
prideful
sh-
and like
for
just
sure.
beating all of our, but it really is a privilege. Like Christian has the willingness to help. Glenn, you have the willingness to help. I am constantly on the phone with agents. I am there for anybody that is going to put in the work and needs help, right? Like we're all
Right.
just like those type of people. We have a service mentality and at
Yep.
the same time a killer mentality, right? So that's a great combination to have. And again, I don't want to beat our own chests, but it's really a privilege to work with us. Like there's such a combination. There's so many fluidity, like again, the ACA side, the marketing side, the Medicare side. Like what else do you need in the health? Like, if you're getting your health license, what else do you need? Okay, maybe some final expense here and there, maybe, some life insurance here and there, but if
Coming
you're
soon.
focused on being coming soon, if you're focused on just health, that is, the holy trinity right there. Like that's all you need. More, if you're again, what's the old adage, right? If you're a life insurance agent, you have a sales problem, you don't have a marketing problem. And the health
That's
field,
right.
you have a marketing problem, you don't have a sales problem, right? So now we're solving the marketing problem, and then now with the sales problem, if you do have one, you can reach out to us, and we're gonna break all that down. So I truly think that, I mean, just that combination alone is priceless. I mean, there's a price. It's your time and it's your work, but it's priceless if you do work it. Now, so Christian and Glenn, you guys obviously offered a university
Yes.
to anybody that has a contract with us. At the very least, enough contracts. I mean, there's a certain amount of contracts you do have to have with us.
Mhm.
But that university is what, 216 videos of content?
Yeah, it's
Even
it's in
more
the
now?
ballpark. It's in the ballpark. I actually lose track myself of how many videos there are because it's growing every week at this point.
Crazy.
But yeah, I
Okay.
mean, like I have always described the university as it's an A to Z building an agency, right? And it's designed to start you off as if you just got your license and you need to do AHIP. It starts incredibly basic, and then the farther you go, the more high level it gets. How the training Glenn and I just did yesterday for it was very high level training on hiring and
Yes.
staffing your business and when to do that. And we'll have a follow up on that this next week, because we didn't even get to everything we wanted to get to because it's such a large topic. But the university has sales training. It has sales training on how to get the most out of a lead, how to accurately prospect. It goes over Medicare
Right.
product knowledge, it goes over carrier knowledge, but it also goes over marketing knowledge, automations, seminars,
Scripts, seminars,
scripts. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Facebook
supposed it's
marketing.
it's supposed to be all encompassing, so and it's like a library to where whatever it is that you need, you have it at your fingertips and you have it at your disposal. And yeah, I think it's just such a I don't I'm a little biased, but I don't mean to toot my own horn about it, but I think it's the best training platform that there is right now in the Medicare space.
I mean, coming into the industry, you guys, the amount of training that I got, the amount of training content that existed in the senior insurance space was essentially zero. Like there really was no training content available back in 2012, when I was roughly getting started. So to have access to a platform like what Christian has put together at the university, and what I'm hoping to contribute, as we continue to move along this year, and continue to grow that university database of videos and knowledge, I couldn't be more excited to have that as an option for contracted agents, for agents who aren't contracted with us. We're trying to support everybody. We want to be able to get this information out to everybody. And it's only fair, in my opinion. I think knowledge is king. Whether your FMO is going to give it to you or not, I think everyone should be able to have access to it. So I love it.
Well, it's only fair that it's $5,000 because it's worth that. But for agents,
Right.
it's zero. It's free. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, perks on perks on perks. Again, we have two weekly trainings. We have two weekly trainings, and I host one, generally for new agent onboarding. And of course, I'll do a lot of one-on-ones and, Zooms. And if you're a full agency, of course, I'm just going to cater to that agency. But I have a training once a week, and Christian has a training once a week as well too. Glenn hops on, when he does. So you have two trainings a week that, I mean, are going to be offered to you, and that's consistent every week, unless sometimes we're in open enrollment last week or something like that, then, that's
Right.
understandable. But again, it's still going to be consistent because we're always going to, like, we're always going to create content, right? We're always going to put out something. We're always going to, you guys do the emergency podcast where if there's something pressing, then you guys hop on it real quick, right? That like
Right.
Tuesday night, whatever the case is. So again, if you guys aren't part of Christian's group, um, the seven-figure Medicare agents, I would join that group too. I mean, obviously, if you're a Medicare agent, there's tons of value in there. Obviously, our group is California Insurance Agents Group. That's all lines. Everybody's welcome there as long as you have a license. So again, guys, a lot of perks. And one cool thing about, again, I'm gonna talk about contracting is, again, like, a lot of agents, I mean, again, we're not gonna name any names or, put anybody out there, but how many times have we gotten, people who have contracted with us, went somewhere else off of the shiny object syndrome, or, they had a yacht party, or they had a something, some kind of, whatever Ludacris was playing, or like, and then
Luda.
whatever it is, and then they have like a hype kind of, ceremonial once a year, whatever, and then they're like, yay, this is cool, and then they go back to writing nothing, right? No actionable items, just all hype, just hoorah, just talking about nothing that's not going to help me out with anything. Like, just talking about, what, how's everybody doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, come
Yeah.
on, man.
I mean, there's countless examples that come to mind, hearing you say that, but like, there are a ton of agents, and Andrew, there's a ton of agents that worked with the both of us, that while working with us, they were doing this, and they walk away and they're doing this, and
Yep.
I think the facts speak for themselves in terms of, like, it might, I think no matter where you are, you could be in heaven and the grass will look greener in another place. It always ends up being that way because you're accustomed to something, and it's like, oh, well, maybe it can be better. But yeah, I mean, I think between the combination of resources, training, mentorship, guidance, all of, and really just support and everything like that, we've seen it with a lot of agents. I mean, we even, have seen it with contracting. We talked about contracting. We've seen it where agents will come and contract with us. It's smooth, it's painless. They're able to get their ready to sell status as quick as possible. They go somewhere else, and they're a month in, and they don't know where they're at. And it's just, they have to keep following up with it. Just, it's the little things, I feel, that
But at least we have
make the difference.
100%.
We have open arms, and we let them right back in, right? It's like,
right.
Absolutely,
all good,
absolutely,
all good.
Come back.
come home, come home.
Come home.
Exactly. I know that situation looked nice. Ludacris is playing. Chris Brown was playing. I know. It was the heat of the moment, and I get it. But let's just be real. Like, we want our days to be smooth. We want everything to be smooth. We do not want to worry about, dude, if you're worried about like contracting, or like, I got to do this, like, you're not focusing on sales, because you're working
100%.
else. And then that's taking up all your energy, and you can't delegate this specific task. Now you're up to doing that, and you also have to sell, and you also have to feed your family. So let us do the heavy work, like heavy lifting. Like, why go through all these hoops, and why have so many buffers? I don't understand with a lot of, I mean, I'm going on a play.
There we go. Seatbelts on, everybody.
Why are there so many buffers with a lot of FMOs? Like, why can't people just communicate just directly to the person that's their upline, and just say, hey, I need help with this, and then have your upline, email, whoever needs to take care of this, and have that person take care of it, and it's taken care of. How hard is that?
It's basic.
But it doesn't happen.
The daisy chain. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Chain.
No, the daisy, like, there's so many, like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen firsthand since I got started in this industry where, and you kind of touched on this, Andrew, when you said, we're right at the source. Christian can pick up the phone and get the top dogs on the phone, whoever he needs to get on the phone, Christian can. And I have my own connections, but I've seen it where there's 100 people in between the owner of the FMO and the downline agent, and there's so much fluff in between that the agent loses out big time, and that's super frustrating. But I'm sorry, I cut you off, Christian. Go ahead.
No, I think that's a great point. It's almost like this it's almost like the telephone, the game from hell.
Yes,
and
that's exactly right.
I think there's a lot of reasons for it, and I don't think there's one particular reason. And it's of course situational by FMO, and without saying any names, sometimes you'll see FMOs get bought and they go into cruise control.
Yep.
They go into cruise control and, they just like, and Andrew, you and I have had conversations about this. Like maybe at one point in time, they did things a different way, and that's how they got to the point of being acquired. But then, things change. They stop prioritizing things. That just the hunger isn't there, and it starts at the top and it goes down to the rest of the organization. And it could be that. It could be they're understaffed. They're growing faster than they
Right.
can handle internally, right? Like, and that's something that, one thing that I have been super excited about with the merger with Glenn is, Glenn has helped me overcome problems of us internally being understaffed. He's helped me see challenges with that because there's been points in time where we're understaffed. And part of the reason why we're able to operate as smoothly as we can on contracting, for example, that's just one of many things, but it's because we're not, we probably still are a little bit understaffed. We probably need more people, but we're not, it's not the same problem it was a year ago or 2 years ago. Right. And
Right.
with Glenn being a delegation and hiring and scaling expert, he can see things that other people can't see, and but I see it with a lot of FMOs where like they have 15,000 agents, let's say, and they have 3 people working for them, and they just get buried. There's no way they can
Are we all
respond to
thinking
everybody.
of the same FMO? Did everyone think of the same FMO when he said that?
I'm thinking of multiple when I
There's a
say that.
lot.
Like,
No,
But in California, there's two, and I know that people know.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot though. There's a lot of that going on where, it did just start off as one agent and he was trying to do his best and his business grew and that's fantastic. But you get to the point where you're not spending money on support for your agents, you're doing such a disservice to your downline. It's a tragedy. It really is because then the agent's not getting the support they need, which means they're not getting the marketing or the training or whatever other help they need with the carriers, etc. And that's ultimately affecting the beneficiaries at the end of the day too, because they're not getting help with their policies that they need when they could have been set up with a dental policy, life policy, health policy, Medicare policy. I think that's always been kind of a barrier for me. Like once I got to the other side as an agent, I came into the industry as a salesperson. Like I'm just trying to sell you something, I'm just trying to make a commission. But once you realize that what we do changes people's lives and it can really make a huge difference, you can kind of get a different sense of the gravity, I guess, of supporting an agent, the gravity of these decisions that these businesses are making. You're affecting a lot of people with one decision. You're affecting the downline agent, you're affecting their potential prospects. So many people can be affected if you just do your job correctly, and it can be a positive thing. And that's what we're trying to really replicate at CBIS and ESI.
yes.
There you go. And
CBIS ESI. We'll just cram them together. 7 letters.
Um,
No, but I mean, to your point, Glenn, I mean, it's not only the clients that suffer, it's the industry that suffers, right?
Yes.
So, weak men create weak times, and right now times are weak for the industry. I'm just gonna be
boom,
real.
boom.
Ooh,
So
quote
there's
card,
a lot
please. I need a quote card.
well, I'm just saying there's a lot
It's
of
true.
I'm just passionate about this. I'm sorry. I'm on a pulpit today. I think I had some coffee too. I don't know how to drink coffee. But but it's BS. Like I've been seeing like obviously the ACA world is just freaking, shit show. Let's just call it what it is, right?
Yeah.
And of course with all the Medicare changes coming up, why do you think that is? Is because we have all these agents that are just coming again to make a quick buck and then
Right.
bouncing in a couple years or I did this, I tried that, now I'm doing something else, and they completely screw over people's you know policies, and then all of a sudden CMS is on us, the people that are doing the right thing, and we're taking all the blame for that.
Right.
So again, this is what we're trying to stop, and that's my mission, is creating, like, I have such a low tolerance for weakness is because I mean real talk, I used to be weak, right? And I
Sure.
hate I've hated myself for that. So I have zero tolerance for weakness, and if we can make sure that agents are doing the right thing and they're not being weak, which is what I train all the freaking time. I mean, yes, you can go on eHealth, you can go on Medicare.gov, look up a policy, what the doctors take, easy peasy, right? Oh, okay, shake hands with the physician at whatever hospital. Great. But what's going on in here, right? Discipline, right?
Right.
What's going on with your sales process? What's going on with your organization? Are you sticking to your schedule? Like, are you moving forward in your business? Like, there's so many other factors that's happening that people overlook because of like small stuff that they have to deal with like day to day. So again,
Right.
it's just weakness is not conducive to success in our industry. We have to be stronger, and that's what we preach. So that's my thing.
Well said. Well said. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think at the end of the day with the CMS rules, you hit it right on the head. I mean, this is coming because the client and customer experience got so bad on such a large scale. And I think training your agents the way that you do, you're doing everything, you're essentially not contributing to that problem, and neither are we, of course, but like I think it's just that's how we solve those kind of problems is teach people to do business the right way, and that's what I feel like we do with our organization.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, exciting stuff to come. I'm just more excited because this is just the beginning, guys. This is where
It
we're
Yep.
is.
a couple weeks in since the announcement.
Yeah.
So
Just a few weeks.
just a few weeks. So there's, I mean, again, marketing and sales and information all together is always going to create great agents, right? So that's why I'm super excited about what's to come next because I know that you guys aren't done cooking with
Not even
No,
close.
not
not
even
even
Just getting
close.
close.
started. Yeah,
Not even
just getting
close.
started.
So I'm super excited about that. I want to be respectful of your time, guys. I know you guys are always busy as well too. So appreciate you guys hopping on, but
Of
just need to
course.
get this message out there. I mean, again, like even if you don't, decide to work with, I mean, that's fine. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys know what's out there and what to do to be a good agent. I mean, hopefully this helped with that. Obviously, if you want to come work with us, great. I'm more than happy. If you don't, great. Hopefully this helped out. So, guys, again, any last words
I
before I go to Hawaii?
I have one final statement, as we always say, right, on our emergency podcast and
That's
Taco
right.
Tuesday. Um,
Final
if
thoughts.
if you guys are in California and you're looking for a home and you're looking for a mentor, there is no better person for you to be aligned with than this guy that we're on with today, in Andrew. So hit him up, take advantage of all of his knowledge and all of his experience, and then of course, you get everything we bring to the table behind him, and yeah, I don't think there's anybody you can be partnered with and aligned with because, the growth that Andrew had last year, and especially during AEP with his organization now kind of rolling into this year, there's going to be a ton of growth, and it's going to be like a rocket ship, and you want to be hanging on to that rocket ship. You want to be along for the ride. So, yeah, make sure that you reach out to Andrew, have conversation with Andrew, and he should at the very, very least be high on your consideration list if you're looking for a home.
My final thoughts, you guys, just to kind of echo the sentiment that Christian just gave you, California, I think, is one of those states can have certain rules, certain carriers that are different than other states. So you really, really, really want a local presence, someone who knows the inside and out of all of these different details. And Andrew's definitely the guy for that, in my opinion. If you're not already in the California Insurance Agent Facebook group, please, please, please join that. I think that is such a great place to stay up to date on what's going on. Sometimes there's meetups. Sometimes Christian is in California, like he is about to be in California.
Next week.
Yeah, so,
Oh yeah, another
yeah,
perk.
that's
There's
right.
there's a
Yeah,
convention that you guys throw for top
that's
producing
right.
agents.
Yep.
Because what, renting a huge house in San Diego and I mean packed full. I mean, of course there's gonna be some learning, but conventions are more for the hanging. I mean, that's just my opinion. But
Yep. We're gonna do this much learning and this much fun.
and
All fun.
La Jolla, Little Italy, hitting the beach, gas lamp, all these restaurants. I mean, it's gonna be a good time. What is it, like a huge, I mean, it's a huge house overlooking the
It's
water.
it's
Yeah.
so we have the house for technically 2 nights, and the house was like 5 Gs, you guys. It's can fit
Woo.
12 people in the house. So yeah, I mean, we spared no expense on this. We paid for the agent's plane flights. We're paying for all of their fun, all of their activities, transportation, everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a super, super great time, and I can't wait for it next week.
There's nothing better than having, well, I'm doing 75 hard, so nothing better than having non-alcoholic beers with, fellow agents and trading notes. I mean, that's gonna be, my favorite. Or, can I get a Lyman club soda without tequila, ranch water? Anyways,
I'm
I'm
not
trying to
sure
figure
what
this
that's.
sober thing out. So, well, guys, again, I appreciate you guys being on, and
Of
I
course.
think that was
Thank
like
you.
really good knowledge there. And again, guys, if you guys ever want to hit up any of us, we're on Facebook. I mean, if you want to join, if you want to join our groups, our respective groups, Seven Figure Medicare Agent, California Insurance Agents, more than welcome to have you guys. But again, Glenn Shelton, Christian Brindle, I thank you guys for being on, and we'll definitely do this again.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Andrew.
You bet.